Can you hear me now?
That's better.
All right, cool. I'll move a little bit closer. Okay.
Where Chris is super loud.
And we are live. What is up, guys? It's Alonna with 570 Press, and I am with you tonight for another podcast. And tonight I am with Aurora is it Peril or Pearl?
Peril.
Peril. Okay.
Peril.
All right. I was close. Um, and they are the winners of the 2020 DI Records Music Mania. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
So good.
So why don't we start off with a basic introduction of each of you guys individually and an introduction to the band.
Sure. So I'm Jessica. I am the vocalist, the one who pretty much wanted to start all of this. It started out as acoustic folksy, and then we quickly decided that that wasn't the route that we wanted to go. So we decided to put a band together. Couldn't find a guitarist, so here's Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, yeah. So then, basically, like how the whole thing started with me and Amanda own Ego and Pessimism Records, which you see a bunch of us rapping right now. And we were looking for people, and Jessica reached out to us, and we're like, hey, she's a good singer, and she wanted to do some Civil War-y type stuff. And so we're like, great, let's find you someone who will play acoustic guitar and harmonize with you, because I'm not that person. Yeah. And then we couldn't find anyone, so I became that person. And then as we started recording the first album, we were like, yeah, let's make this a little more rocky. And it became a rock record. And then I was like, hey, Chris, you want to play drums in this band?
And I said yes, and I'm Chris, and I play drums.
Perfect segue.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. So, okay, so you answered my second question, which is how you guys became a band. So we're going to move on. So in terms of the band name, how did you come up with that, and what is the meaning behind it, if there's any? Because a lot of times bands are like, oh, I just thought of it one day, or they're like, oh, I read it in the
I think Chris is
book.
probably the
So
best person to
sometimes
answer this question.
any kind of significance, but like,
Sorry, I think you guys just glitched out. Were you saying you want me to answer that question?
I was saying I think Chris would be the best person to answer it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Chris, go ahead.
Well, it kind of started. I think it was Jess who came up with it first. But normally I just tell the story because I remember it best. It was kind of like you're walking on a highway. It was dark at night. Cars just whizzing by. Then there was an accident that happened, so Peril. And then she fell off a cliff, which turned into water. And then there was this big tsunami that brought her onto a ship, which was named Aurora. And then she just sort of clicked, and it was Aurora and Peril. Crazy story.
I have to tell you, I enjoyed the hand movements to accompany that.
That's what I need to actually think of what I'm going to say for it, because I do the introduction of that, but it's different every time.
So you guys recently released Wasted on You. What was the songwriting process for that like? Was that different from any of your previous songs, or was it kind of the same?
We do a bunch of different things when it comes to our songs. Like some of them I'll write to music that Ben has already written, and then others I will write a song and he'll write music to it, or we'll all come up with it together. With Wasted on You, I had written lyrics to something, and then he had sort of made a riff. We hadn't heard each other's versions at all, but he started playing, and then I just started singing, and that's kind of how that ended up.
Wow. Okay, cool. So it just kind of all fell into the right place.
Yeah.
Cool. So does it have any kind of backstory to it?
Yes and no. I mean, there's always that sort of person that you feel like you wasted time on. or that you really just want them to choke on a cactus. So,
Or both.
yeah, or both, or all of the above. So yeah, that's it definitely comes from aspects of my life, but can definitely be used with just about anybody.
Yeah, definitely. And you can definitely hear that throughout. It resonated, a lot with myself because, as you said, there's always that one person that you feel like you wasted your time on and you just kind of want them to choke on a cactus. So,
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think you could have worded that any better.
Thank you.
So that said, has your songwriting process changed from your self-titled EP?
I think mainly because when we were writing the songs for the EP at the beginning, we were writing them acoustically. A lot of them were written and were meant to be done acoustically. I've actually written some of them on the ukulele. Came in and was like, what can you do with this? And Generic Love Song was one of those. And it sort of just has become a lot, I wouldn't say heavier but darker, I think I would say. What's that?
Not as much anymore.
Another big change to our writing process is Chris was actually involved for the newer stuff that we're working on. Yeah. For the EP, it was really just me and Jessica writing acoustic songs. And then I would just kind of like start layering stuff, and I'd go out of control with recording, and it became a rock record. Chris played on one of the songs on the record that I was like, I can't come up with a drum part for this. So I was like, hey, Chris, you want to come over and play drums on a song? And he came over, and I showed him the one little thing that I had for the verse, and he changed that a little bit and came up with that. So he really helped shape that and helped sort of arrangements with the stuff too. So that was a big change in the actual process of how it's done.
Right. So Chris, you just kind of were just like, hey, I'll drum on this track.
No, I didn't say that at all. Actually, he just said, hey, want to come over and listen to this song and see what you think? Yeah, sure. Okay. What do you think of this beat? Oh, yeah, that sounds like a beat. It's cool, man. And then he was just like, okay, sweet. Can you write the rest of it? Sure. And that's how it progressed. And honestly, that's how most of the drums get recorded is I just show up and he's like, hey, do you want to record this today? No. Cool. I've already pressed record, so get going.
Go for it.
Someone's got to make stuff happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you know what? Sometimes I feel like that's the best if you don't tell somebody you're recording, because sometimes I feel like when you're recording, people can kind of tense up because they're afraid that they're gonna mess it up. So I feel like if you kind of I don't want to say lie to them, but you make them believe they're not gonna record it, and then you just catch them off guard, then they can't really be nervous about messing up.
True.
I actually prefer going the other way and tell them that I'm recording, and I just not record it. Oh no, that didn't work.
Oh yeah, that happened a lot.
That was only one song.
One song.
Totally on purpose.
No, one song. There was just I can't. Ben, do you remember what song that was? It was just everything we did got done. What?
I think it's Wasted on You.
Oh yeah, and we just we had the song recorded, pressed a button, computer went wonky, deleted it all. Then we started recording it again. Then it didn't sound as good, so we waited a day and then recorded it again. So it worked out.
Yeah, so there you go. Sometimes it does work out. So individually, who are some musical influences for you guys?
I pull from a lot of different places. I like a whole bunch of different music. So I have a lot of Pretty Reckless, Evanescence, and then I going over to Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, that sort of thing. So I enjoy singing more melodic things because I really come from I used to do musical theater and stuff like that. So that sort of had to be beaten out of me when we first started, because I just wanted to sing everything.
Mhm.
And some things just really don't need to be sang like a Disney princess. So that's been a process, but yeah, those are some of mine.
Right. And like you said with the musical theater, I feel like it's very hard to break yourself out of that because you're so used to like people like grinding it into your head that you have to sing every part exact. And then once you kind of get out of that, it's very hard to break yourself away from that.
Mm-hmm, it is.
Okay, so who's next?
I'll go, I guess. So I'm an old man now. So I'm into like late 90s, early 2000s emo bands. So like Jimmy Eat World's my favorite band. I love Taking Back Sunday, Brand New. There's a couple bands from Canada, like a band called Monine that I really love. And then like Under Oath, I was really into them for a bit. Yeah, all those types of old bands that people didn't know about then and don't know about even more now. Yeah, that's what I love.
Cool. And then me is just 30 Seconds to Mars, Paramore, Fall Out Boy, some of my basics and my go-tos. But yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys my Paramore story?
No, but
No.
let's hear it.
No, I actually saw them before their first album or just after their first album came out.
Oh, really?
They were supporting Armor for Sleep was the main band on the show. And I think it was either From First to Last or From Autumn to Ashes was the next band. And then Paramore was the first band. I saw them in St. Catharines. It was like a 200 cap venue.
Wow.
Were they good?
They were all right. I mean, they were like 16 and 17-year-old kids at the time. I think Zach was like 15.
Yeah.
So-
they must have been
So
awesome.
as much as you'd expect like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to be tight playing in a crappy little venue in St. Catharines.
So really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely had no expectation that the band that I was seeing that night would become what Paramore.
Really good.
Yeah. I was just there for Armor for Sleep. Again, one of those early 2000s emo bands that nobody knows about who they are. I thought they were awesome. They were great that night.
You know what? I've heard of Armor for Sleep, and that's only because I have an older brother. So
Yeah.
and Finger 11 and Simple Plan and all those goodies that make me feel prehistoric when I talk about Good Charlotte and people look at me and they're like, what the fuck is a Good Charlotte?
And then you say like,
So-
oh, they're the band that was dating Paris Hilton. And people are like, who the fuck is that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's crazy. Like, okay, for example, one time I was talking to, I don't remember who it was, but I was talking to somebody and they literally asked me if Paris Hilton was ever a Kardashian. I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not even possible. Second of all, no.
Oh.
Say all of the above.
Paris
All-
Kardashian before Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So what was the turning point for each of you individually that kind of made you decide that you wanted to become musicians?
I mean, I've always sang, like when I was little, I sang horribly. People would tell me that I was good, and then apparently behind my back, be like, please don't ever let her do anything with music. And then I signed up for this talent show when I was 9, and my whole family came and they were expecting me to absolutely suck. But then apparently I did not. And then it sort of, when I could see like the genuine enthusiasm in people's faces, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. But like a serious musician, I don't think I thought that I could really, because I have 2 little girls and I'm married and all of that. And I didn't think that I could anymore. But then I went to a live show a couple of years ago, and that's sort of what put that back into me. And then once I met with Ben and Amanda, that's what sort of was the turning point for me. Like, oh, okay, you actually mean that I can sing, and people actually think that I don't suck. So I think that there was the turning point for me.
Nice.
I think for me, it was Enema of the State coming out when I was in grade 10. I just got a guitar the year before, and I'd learned a couple Third Eye Blind songs, and then Enema of the State came out, and I'm like, I can play this whole album, and they're huge rock stars. I can do this. And my playing hasn't progressed too much since that point.
Any of my stuff, I mean, I was in music theater as well. I was singing and playing piano when I was 5, and then I just kept on playing it, and then it was just listening to different music. I think it was actually, funny enough, I think it was seeing Sam Roberts live, like whenever that was, that made me actually want to pursue something in music and play live a lot more. Just the energy that they had on stage and everything was just really intoxicating, and I just wanted to do it. Yeah.
Was that the Summer in the Park one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're probably going to hate me for this one, but I have no idea who Sam Roberts is.
That's okay. Most people don't. He's very different now than he was then, but he was great before.
Well, you know what? I'm going to have to look up his old stuff now, because now you've piqued my interest.
Oh, yeah. Do it.
He's big in Canada. Like, he's like the Bare Naked Ladies or the Tragically Hip. We're like huge here. I think the Tragically Hip played SNL live once, and I don't think ever went back to the States since then. And that was like in the 90s.
Wow.
And they're one of the biggest bands in Canada. I mean, their singer's gone now, but.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, yeah. So I could have sworn I remembered you guys being from Canada, but I wasn't sure. Okay, there was part of me that thought it was Canada, but then there was another part that thought it was Pittsburgh for some reason. I don't know why.
That's what the contest was.
Yeah. You know what? That's probably why, because DI is based in Pittsburgh. But you know what? That's awesome. I mean, as somebody who's based in the US, I have always wanted to go to Canada, and ironically, I got my passport to go to Canada right as the pandemic hit. So I've just kind of been stuck here for like the past year. Yeah. So with that being said, how has the pandemic affected you guys as a band? Do you think that it's made you guys more inspired, or have you guys kind of just stayed the same?
I'd say I think it's done both.
Yeah.
Like, we're all really jonesing to play shows now more than I think we probably ever had been. It also, like, right at the start, because we'd been playing a bunch of shows, me and Chris played in another band together, and we'd been playing a bunch of shows. So we were all kind of like, we're tired. And so when pandemic hit, we're like, okay, good. We'll just take a little bit of a break now for a few weeks, and then we'll get back at it. And that few weeks is now, here we are a year later, still haven't played a show. And so, yeah, I think all of us, I think it's done a bit of both. I think we've all gone through periods of, this is never going to end. There's no point. And then we all go through periods of, man, I can't wait to play again.
I think, too, it has given, like, I'm not sure of the direction that we were really going in last year. Like, I think we probably would have gotten to where we are now, like, musically. But I'm not so sure if we would have gotten to where we are. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we were able to work on music. We were able to figure out exactly what we wanted to do. Yeah. And I mean, like, deciding now, especially because of the pandemic, how far we want to leave outside of our bubble when we're allowed to go do music again. So I think it sort of did, like, change us as a band. Mm-hmm.
Nice. You know what? I can respect that. And I know that they're just starting to announce some shows for the fall here. And I mean, I think it's great and all, but I just wish that, you know, bands from all over could have the same luxury as that, because obviously, I mean, it's very obvious that you guys are very passionate about what you do, and it seems to me a lot like you guys really miss playing shows, and I just wish that, you know, the whole world had that same luxury of, you know, okay, well, we have a date that we can start to do this again, so that you guys at least had some kind of show to look forward to.
I think it'll happen at some point this year. I really do. I mean, I know right now the main focus, we're in Ontario, Canada. The main focus of us right now is getting vaccinated.
Right.
And then I think we're going to go from there and see what happens. Like I have a government job, like I work for the postal system. So I'll be vaccinated shortly because I deal with the public and that sort of thing. And then I know, like, just speaking with, I was actually able to go to live music yesterday in a really small venue. It was great. Like, not everybody loves the band. They're called, oh my God. Why am I saying Civil Wars? It's not the Civil Wars. What the heck?
Cabiners?
Thank you. It was the Cabiners from North Bay, Ontario. And I was able to see them at the Living Tavern, which is like super small, but it was great. But just like seeing that we're sort of going back to normalcy. I know, like I said, I was speaking with the owner and I was speaking with the band, and they sort of told me that the other venues that they've been talking to are definitely going to be asking for like a vaccine passport for any of the bands that are going to be going to play. So it's going to be different here for sure.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to see that everywhere. I think you're going to see the vaccine passports everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that that's how it should be, because at least you know that people can, you know, be amongst each other safely. Because I know here, specifically in my state, there are certain parts that, like, if you go into a bar, if you have your vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask. And you don't have to distance. So I feel like you should at least have some sort of proof that you can do that, so that you're not putting other people at risk. Because honestly, anybody could just walk into a bar and be like, yeah, I'm vaccinated, and they're not, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there will be people like that.
Yeah.
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's always a couple in the bunch. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about new music. Are you guys working on anything? If so, could you tell us a little bit about it? Because I know, I mean, I was in a band. I know new music, you know, the bands tend to keep under wraps so that, you know, they can work on it and that they don't create the hype before it's even done. But, you know, is there anything that you guys could like tell us maybe?
I mean, there's definitely a couple that we're working on. We have one specifically that we were just sort of threw together last weekend.
Yeah.
That seems to be going in the direction that we all wanted to. So I don't want to give too much away, obviously, because that is something that we want to stop doing. And like in the past, we've been like, look, this is our new song. Then, yeah. So I think with this, the newer song, because we do have a couple of other ones that we've done acoustically and that sort of thing that people have seen. But this new one, I think I'd like to keep under wraps as much as possible until it gets released. I will say it is a little bit witchy. So,
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm very into witchy things.
We've been, I mean, that's been what most of our focus has been for the last, I don't want to say focus for last year, because that sounds like we should have a whole bunch of stuff ready, but we have, I think we have.
Some are duds.
We have 3 or 4 songs, like, kind of structurally at least ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do have a bunch of stuff that's that we put together since Wasted on You came out that I think we're all pretty happy with the ones that we have right now.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, cool. I can respect that. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the Music Mania contest, because I seem to have brought up everything but that. So let's talk a little bit about that, because you guys ended up winning that. And I thought that was, you know, super, super cool, because that was actually when you guys first came on my radar, because we were obviously giving away the podcast and everything as part of it. But that was really the first time I had heard of you guys, and I'm glad that I did. But let's talk a little bit like about how you guys entered. How did you guys find out about that?
It was super surprising.
Yeah, like because we put out our first EP in December before a few months before the contest. We played our first show as a band after that, even So we've only really been a band for a couple months when that came about. But Amanda, my partner at the label, she's always looking for opportunities and things that bands can be doing. And she's like, hey, this contest came up out of Pittsburgh. And I was like, sure, why not? We're not going to win, but let's throw our hats in.
What?
And then I forget how we did. We surprisingly did really well in the first round. And I was like, holy crap, we might actually have a chance. And then one of the other first round groups, the band did I think it was like 5 or 10 times as many votes as us. We were like,
okay,
there's no chance.
Yeah.
We might get a runner-up prize, maybe. And then we just decided, you know what? Let's hustle for the last week before the end of the contest, and just kind of contact everyone that we possibly can. Just be like, hey, we're in this contest. Check us out if you don't know us already. We'd appreciate you checking it out, and if you like us, give us a vote, or if you like someone else, give them a vote.
Leave it in their hands.
Yeah.
I do really think it helped that we were the only Canadian band. I will have to say, because that was something that we could and did use.
Yeah.
We had an entire nation on our side, so
exactly. We were like, hey, we're the only Canadian band. Vote for Canada.
With
the vote for us.
Music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? That's amazing that you guys were only a band for a couple of months with that. Because that's not really, a common thing. And that's definitely, as my mom always says, and this is an older term, so again, I'm aging myself. That's, a huge feather in your hat for that. I still don't know what that term means, but my mom says it all the time. So
I can tell you what that means.
All right, let's hear it.
Back when they used to wear the old brim caps, I think actually from people that first came over to the nation.
When Ben was young.
Yeah. Back in my day. And then if you had a feather in your hat, that was kind of a sign that you were someone important and fancy.
Oh,
so
okay.
A feather in my cap means literally a feather in.
Yeah. Okay, so you know what? Now it makes more sense, but yeah. But,
so it literally, or I guess figuratively, is a feather in our cap.
Yeah, exactly. And that's an incredible feat. And you know what? That doesn't happen often. And it's like you said, and maybe you guys did use being the only Canadian band to your advantage, but regardless of that, obviously you guys have the drive and the passion and the sound that people want to hear. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be where you are. And I think that that's an awesome feat.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Ben. I can't get over how much you look like Jack Black.
I've a few times tried to start Twitter campaigns where getting people to tweet them to star in a brother movie with me or something. He's never responded yet, but I'm about to do another one of those campaigns. So
yeah.
So if you start seeing someone trying to be in a Jack Black movie, it's probably me, and support that.
So if Jack Black has a new movie, you're going to be in it. But when you guys play a show, it's actually going to be Jack Black playing.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Or if we ever have a biopic of us done, we'll
Jack Black.
Age Jack Black back to be us. Or we'll just put out the School of Rock as our biopic.
There you go. That's perfect. Just be like, yeah, this was Ben back in the day. Yeah.
I mean, I do teach guitar. And I look like Jack Black, so it's basically my life.
And you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
And The Legend of the Rent is way hardcore,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you guys could book your dream tour with you guys included on the bill, who else would you want to be on the bill with you?
30 Seconds to Mars, done.
I mean, it'd be way different for each of us, but I think if we communally as a band had to pick people, I think Paramore would probably be probably our most mutually agreed upon one. Mm-hmm. If I could ever tour with Jimmy Eat World though, I would die a happy person.
I think they
I saw you said something, but I didn't hear it at all.
Yeah, neither did I.
I said I think they know mine. They could probably guess.
Chris looks terrified when you said they could probably guess.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Rush, your favorite.
Obviously. Oh, you guys got it.
Oh my god, I love Rush.
Also Canadian.
Like Paramore would definitely be like top 3 for me, most likely, but I'm definitely like enjoying the Pretty Reckless right now, so probably them.
Oh, them.
Oh, them. Like I don't talk about them ever.
I'd love to go with Fall Out Boy. That would be awesome, I think.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, you know what? I think that would be really cool. But the question is, new Fall Out Boy or old Fall Out Boy?
You know what? Give me any. I love their new stuff, but I mean, I was listening to them for Take This to Your Grave too, so I'll take any of it.
I followed them all the way through. So old Fall Out Boy was definitely what started me on the train. New Fall Out Boy is a little bit different, but their drummer is awesome. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So,
he is.
If you could play any venue anywhere in the world, where would it be?
the pyramids.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Like the Egyptian pyramids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, Vegas?
Well, it's either the real pyramids or I could be happy with very, very small models in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, you know what?
I feel like that needs to go in our first music video.
I played the Horseshoe Tavern a couple years ago with a different band, and that was pretty awesome. I mean, like the Stones have played there. I saw a band called Appleseed Cast that I really love play there. It's in a Tragically Hip song. So that was an awesome one for me. But I like O2 Arena. Let's say that. O2 Arena in London.
I'm not well versed with like venues, to be perfectly honest, but I've always wanted to play somewhere that was like really old school, like with the almost like operatic. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I would dread that because it would just be so like the sound in those buildings is not meant for rock bands at all.
Oh,
So
no.
disastrous to play.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Well,
That's true. We're disastrous anyway, so.
Well, I mean, Chris mentioned pyramids, and aside from the Egyptian pyramids, or many model pyramids, the first thing that actually came into my mind, and as soon as Jess said, like, kind of, amphitheater in Colorado, and if you looked at it, it kind of looks like it's like the pyramid, but like it's a completely outdoor venue, and the seats are rocks, like they're literally rocks, and they're like tiered upward.
Nice.
And they go all the way up, like I think they go up like maybe 10-20 feet, and then it's the same way throughout. It's so cool. I've never been there, but I've seen pictures of it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
I'm going to change my answer now, though. The 930 Club in DC. Jimmy Eat World did a live show there, and a bunch of bands. Like that's where all the bands that I love play when they go through DC. So I'd like to play there, or 101 Gelman Street, the one where Green Day came up playing in San Francisco. There.
Yeah.
That's a legendary punk venue that I would just think would be sweet to play at.
Hell yeah.
But currently, literally anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Highland.
My backyard.
Hey, I mean, you know
Like
what?
literally anywhere.
I mean, you know what? Have a backyard show, man. I mean, there's this thing that was going on in my area last week, and now normally we do like an Irish fest, and like we do a whole parade and everything. Obviously, we couldn't do that last year or this year because of the pandemic, but they did this super cool thing called a porch fest, and all these band members, it was either in a duo or a trio, they stood on their porch and people could like walk by or drive by in their car. It would just be like playing on their porch. I thought that was so cool.
That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Definitely not something I would have thought to do. I mean, I would have just been like, yo, come play in my backyard. But I mean, a porch fest, like that is so awesome.
Fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about setting up in driveways before, like over the last year.
I mean, yeah, and you know what? A big thing last summer was drive-in concerts.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of bands. We have an arena in my area, and we had the band set up outside in the arena parking lot, and then the cars could just pull in and just watch. And you were allowed to get out of your car, but you had to stay like within the parking space next to your car and within your car's parking space, and you couldn't go any further without a mask on. So I mean, you know, they killed it with the regulations, but it was cool because it gave you some sense of normalcy. It was kind of weird, so it was kind of like being in a drive-in movie, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is one track, and it could be your own, it could be by another artist, that means a lot to you?
I have to figure out what the song title is. Hold on. It means that much. Oh, you know what? There is actually one that means a lot to me. It's by Reliant K. It's called Deathbed. It's an 11-minute song, and it takes you through a whirlwind of emotions, and I just feel it every single time I listen to it.
You love Reliant K.
I love Reliant K. They're so great. But that song specifically just speaks to me on every single level. Yeah.
Do you got a song, Jess?
I have a song. I just need to look it up for a second.
Okay.
I'm really torn between two different songs right now.
You're both.
Okay. So, song number 1, Constantine by Something Corporate.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
That's $10, 10-minute piano ballad. Just hits me right there every time. The other one is Better Homes and Gardens by Taking Back Sunday.
Nice. Yeah, I love Taking Back Sunday. I actually had Eddie on the podcast last year time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he is an awesome dude. I love him. And you know, he's super, super humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He's an awesome dude. So shout out Eddie. Thanks for all your support.
If he's watching this, I love you, man.
Yeah, seriously. See? Ben loves you.
So mine is something that my husband, who, by the way, we didn't even mention, he's our bass player. His name is Robin, and he is taking care of our kids right now and bathing them. So that's why he's not here right now. But he introduced me to this band. So it's Falling in Reverse. The song is The Drug in Me Is You Reimagined. So it's the newer version that he did. That is like really cinematic and that sort of thing. I do enjoy the first version, but I like the second version better. There's a lyric in it that says, running from my past, praying feet don't fail me now. That just like hits me like a ton of bricks. So that would definitely be it.
Wow. All definitely respectable choices, you know, and I love all those bands. But you know what, you know, speaking on like reimagined, I see so many bands that are doing that now, and I am in love with it. Like, it's so awesome. Like Motionless in White just did that with, I think it was Eternally Yours, and I love that. And a lot of times, I don't know if Falling in Reverse did it. I feel like they did, but I don't remember. A lot of times they have like a video to accompany it, and the video is so theatrical and so cinematic. Like you said, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's mostly piano, and then it just gets even bigger towards the end, and it's just like it honestly punches you in the gut.
Yeah, definitely. So what can we expect from you guys in the future?
Lots more posts on social media, and lots more coming to Spotify for us as well.
Yeah,
It's definitely
hopefully shows again at some point before long.
Hell yeah. So what can people who have not heard of you, what can they expect from you guys? Where can they find your music? Things of that nature.
So
obviously not LimeWire.
all the major streaming platforms we're on. Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, Napster. I don't know. What are all the other ones? I'm Amazon. We're on that too, I think. All of them.
YouTube, all of that.
Yeah. Google Play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those,
We're on
We're all-
Instagram as well and Facebook.
yeah. Do we have a Twitter account, or have we given up on that?
We have a Twitter account.
Not yet.
We do have a Twitter account. I have not given up on it. Let's just say that.
We need some more
Yeah,
people to
right?
follow that.
Yes, we do.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on this podcast. It was really great to meet and talk with you guys. Hopefully, in the future, we could do this again in person. I always love to chat with bands in person because you can kind of get a better feel and you can kind of, bounce the questions and the answers off more easily, rather than trying to do it through a computer screen. And, because then you don't have to deal with lags or glitches or, mic problems or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we live in rural areas, so glitches are really common for us.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I live in like a city, but it's super, super windy here. I don't know if you've like heard my window knocking this entire friggin' time, but it's super windy. So my Wi-Fi keeps like going in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a noise.
Yeah. You know what? It's gross. Like we had rain earlier, then it was sunny, and now it's like windy. And the worst part is like because like the city I live in is not a good city, like sometimes like when you hear that knocking, you're like, oh my god, like somebody's trying to break in my house. But then obviously it's just the wind. But it's just paranoia at that point.
We have snow today.
Yes.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Like
Yay.
badly.
Yeah.
Wind and it's basically a snowstorm.
Wow.
We had 0 snow this morning. It was raining.
Wow, yeah. Wow. Well, don't
Canada for you.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, please keep the snow there. We just got
No, take it. It's yours.
No, like they were saying like they got like 101 inches or something in New York, and I'm in Pennsylvania and we got I think like 60 inches like throughout the whole winter, so you guys can gladly keep the snow. Yeah, because my car is only front wheel drive and I don't think my poor car can take being buried for another 2 months. Yeah. But thank you guys so much. This was awesome. And I look forward to talking with you guys again in the future and hearing more from you guys.
Awesome. Anytime. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.